Luca Nation, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Lucas, Tigers, and Bronze. Oh my. Gotta just say a quick thank you to all of our listeners. A lot of you guys have sent DMs. A lot of you guys have messaged. A few of you guys even picked up the phone and called. Shout out to you, MBT. Just checking in. How are things going? There's been a lot going on. So we love you. We appreciate you. At the end of the day, we do a million things, but number one is the show, showing up every single day for you guys. What is it? Rain, snow, or shine? What's the statement you guys make in America?
It's good. I like it. We're just gonna leave it with that. Rain or snow or shine.
Yeah.
SHYNE. Shine.
Yeah. Shine. Well, we don't have snow here.
You know what that reminds me of? Shine. You say the word shine. I used to take the Staten Island ferry into work, and there was a guy on it who would offer to shine your shoes. And he would just walk around the ferry and he would say, shine, shoe shine, shine, shine. And, you'd call him over and he'd shine your shoes for you. And he would just, I guess he spent every day with a little, hey, Tommy, why don't you go home and get your shine box? You know what movie that's from? No.
American Gangster.
No, but you're close. It's the right genre of movie. Hey, Tommy,
gangsters always got their shoe shine. I kind of always dreamed of every single day there would be this sick, really good vibes guy that I would stop by and he would shine my shoes. And, he was like an old man and he told me about life and,
This sounds like a movie. This sounds like you should write this. This sounds like a screenplay.
Dude, these guys who shine shoes, they talk to so many people. They're probably some of the smartest people out there about life and wisdom. So
I like it. Listen, I'd watch that movie. Let's go. I'd watch that movie 100%. Goldberg hunting. Goldberg will hunting.
Wild weekend in sports, Cage.
Hell yeah.
Super wild weekend in sports.
Can I say this? You just talked about MBT. We almost pulled off a blockbuster fantasy trade that he wishes he did now because I was giving up Jonathan Taylor and Lamar Jackson. I was getting back Derrick Henry. I wanted the headline of one of our episodes to be, I get to ride Derrick Henry for the rest of the season, because everybody likes to give me shit for that. But now Derrick Henry's broken.
What would you be? Running back cards are dangerous to invest in general, right? Like Christian McCaffrey, incredible. Probably him and Derrick Henry are 1 and 2 best running backs in the league. Chris Hodge, one of the best Christian McCaffrey collections out there. How do you invest in them, right? Like, Cage, do you day trade them? Are this like a long-term hold?
Henry's been real durable for a long time. Henry doesn't really get injured. He's been that one guy who, I've said to invest in him, but it's funny. This is what happens, right? It's professional sports. One of the things we talk about is, performance. And, wow, you're going to have your money put in Herbert or Burrow or Mahomes. And look at Mahomes. Look what he's doing, and the car prices are going down. But there's always that chance of an injury, always. Ja's flying high right now, but he's been injured, in his career, and his cards weren't doing so well. It's not just basketball. Look at baseball. Mike Trout, right? About as close as you can get to, the next big thing, right? Every season he seems to get hurt now. If he gets hurt again next season, do people start dumping his cards? Who the heck knows? This is one of those things we don't really talk about that much because nobody wants to talk about injuries. Everybody wants to bet on a guy that goes out there and, and kills it. But injuries are a part of sports. It's one of those things you don't get when you're investing in, somebody who's already retired.
And they're an opportunity. It's so interesting in the middle of the season to see something like this, right? So Zach Wilson goes down.
Mm-hmm.
The defense doesn't have a chance to prepare because defenses, and I wanted to ask you, man, dude, cornerbacks have the hardest job.
Yes.
I swear to God, the more I watch football, I'm like, because
that's why you are Trayvon Diggs. You do all the work, you do all the dirty work, and you get none of the appreciation. There's very few. Look what Deion Sanders had to do. He had to play offense. Charles Woodson had to go play offense, to win the Heisman Trophy at Michigan. No one on defense gets any love.
Well, it's a fascinating position. You cover the world's best athletes by backpedaling.
Yeah,
How?
It's true. It's all in the hips. It's all in the hips. It's all in the hips. Get out of here. Get your hips.
It got me thinking because, this was a fascinating weekend, right? You have Mike White come in for the Jets.
Yep. Trevor Siemian.
And then the guy with the amazing name on the Cowboys, Rupp or Cup or I'll find his name here. It's just Cooper Rush.
Cooper Rush.
Incredible. Just
is that not like a Texas football name? Did I not want to make Varsity Blues 7 and have Cooper Rush as like the QB for that?
He's the homecoming king without a doubt. And in that
that name alone. I mean, he could be hideous, but that name alone makes him the homecoming king.
Why not? Is it like, are these guys? Because I mean, on StarStock, Mike White's card went for $1.50 on Saturday, $15 on Sunday. Is it these guys just hit the scene and they might stay, or is it that defenses are really successful in terms of preparation, right? They watch film, and there's no film on these three guys.
That's 100%. Well, Simeon's played a little bit, but yes, on Mike White, please notice, Jet fans, and I am going to get some hate for this because New York Jet fans, the dude didn't throw the ball once beyond 15 yards. And he's playing against Frank Reich Frank Reich this week, who is a former quarterback.
32 first downs.
Yeah, I mean,
511.
They set up a fantastic system for him where he was dinking and dunking, and he was taking what was given to him. So now listen, there were some plays that he made. There were some passes he made where he threaded the needle, and he looked legit. He looked the part, Mike White. So I'm not going to take it away, but there was a huge question mark, and Frank Reich is going to come out there and he's going to say, I need this guy to beat me over the top. I'm going to take away the crossing patterns. I'm going to take away those short slants. I'm going to take away the dink and the dunk. I'm going to make this guy throw the ball downfield to beat me, and let's see if he can make those throws, because he didn't make those throws. He didn't have to. Now, if he's able to make those throws, it begs the question, why hasn't he been playing so far? But
so I watched a little bit of the games, and I also followed on scores. You know how – this is the comparison I'll make. When you have a pitcher and they throw first pitch strikes, you know how that's such a big deal? Mm-hmm. Every single first down, or everything single first down, they would throw these like 6, 7, 8 yard passes, and they would get 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3. And I was like, man, like stop letting them throw. Like I'm watching this out here. I'm like, you can't let them get 8 yards on the first down pass.
Yep.
Like
it makes a very manageable game. It makes them a much more manageable game if you're able to do that, right? I mean, 100%. But that's what I would imagine the defensive scheme is going to look to take away from him in the next game. And look, he may show up, but you could expect a lot of eBay returns. I mean, a lot of people selling cheaper if he comes back down to earth. What's funny about it, man, is where our brains go, right? So you said there's opportunity when I was talking about injuries. And I did not think you meant opportunity for the backups. I thought you meant opportunity for our listeners as investors. And the first thing that I thought of, I mean, I talked about Ja when he got injured last year. And obviously, if you bought him in his injury dip and are now looking at him start off like the 5-game MVP, you made money. But you guys, do you remember who I was saying last year was a stud and he got injured and his cards were crap compared to where they are now? Mr. Dak Prescott. He was all over that dude last year during the injury. I said there was an opportunity to buy his cards. I thought that's what you meant when you meant. So if there's an opportunity for both. There's an opportunity for the subs, the replacement killers, to come in and do their job and actually make you money. But really, if you're playing a longer game, I'm not saying Zach Wilson, but if Ja Morant is injured, I don't know if we're believers in Zion, because that injury may be a little different because he's 473 pounds.
He looks big.
Zion's cards are down. Zion's cards are down. If you're a believer in Zion, I might not be a believer in Zion going, 10 years from now, but I do believe he's going to come back and be a monster for a stretch of games, and his cards are going to be more money than what people are letting them go for now. That's what I thought you meant by opportunity. Injury does create an opportunity, not just for the backups, but for the cards of the guys who are injured.
So guys, just to give you context to that, a PSA 10 of Zion just sold, $320.
Under 3. I've seen them on StarStock. PSA 10s going for, I've seen sales at 3 even on StarStock. And I'm pretty sure like the offers are under 3 right now if you pull that up. I'm looking.
Is that one of those things where there's low downside and a lot of upside? So like let's play out 2 scenarios. He comes in and he gets a season-ending injury and he's out. What's that card go from 290 to 200?
Yeah,
right?
Or 250, 220. And then next year you just have to hang on to it.
Right.
Because he's going to come back.
Or you lose $90, you cash out. Cool. You lost $90.
Yep.
Or, and I know this is crazy, but like that Pelicans team actually has a bit of fight. It's an interestingly constructed team. I'm a big believer in Nikhil Walker.
Yep. He's played well.
Pretty good. Yep. Steven Adams, pretty good. Valanciunas is who.
Valanciunas he's been fantastic. Valanciunas.
Devontae is a guy I've noticed. He's a culture guy. He's a guy that you could bring into an organization. He's a vet. He's quiet. He's happy. He's peaceful. People like to be around him. This is the vibe I'm getting.
Yep.
You probably know better. He probably
and Ingram. You know, I think you see the ceiling on Ingram, but Ingram's getting you 20-something points a game. I mean, he's a scorer.
So is this a team that if Zion does come in and, you know, they say plays himself into shape, maybe this card goes and it's now kind of like the Zion and Ja. It's a $450 card.
Why wouldn't it be? Look what happened to Ja's cards after 5 great games. 100%. And that's what I thought of when you said opportunity, right? Now, look, I don't know when the hell the guy's coming back. But once you start hearing words he's coming back, the card's going to go up. It's just what happens.
You know who I'm a little bit off sell on right now that I can't figure out is this Boston Celtics team. They seem to have a lot of the pieces. Dennis Schroeder, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. If there's even a debate who's the best player, well, Jason Tatum is considered one of the best young talents in the league. And Jaylen Brown's 1 year older. So if you're even comparing, which one is better than who, you have two of the best this might be one of the best backcourts in the league, right?
Yeah, 100%.
What's missing with this team? How are they consistently losing games, and how are they so bad defensively?
Marcus Smart.
Is Jason Tatum really a sell?
Marcus Smart can't guard everyone. I think there was just a buyout of Tatum, right? On collectible. Rejected.
That's a little audacious. If you're an investor, you're getting a premium to sell your Tatum card. He hasn't started out great, and this team doesn't look promising, and you reject it. That's a bit audacious. If you,
he had 41. You got to remember, this guy's really young too, right? And the East is wide open, right? I mean, if you look at the East, like I think I saw a snapshot yesterday, it looked like the East in the 90s, right? The best teams were the Knicks, the Heat, right? Like the Nets were actually missing the cut for the playoffs. The Lakers, I think, were an 8 seed out in the West. Like basketball is turned up on its head, right? And you're looking at this and going, what the heck is going on here? Anybody could win. So, yeah, the Celtics, they obviously have enough talent to make a deep run. Anything can happen in the East. The Bucks were down in the bottom of it, I think, too. The Bucks were 3-3 and the Knicks are 5-1. Like the whole East, the first week of the East was not the way anybody drew it up. The Knicks and the Bulls were on top. Seriously, it was like Jordan and Ewing again,
The Bucks are interesting. They're really they're really banged up. They're really injured, right? Like they've come out. They're playing well. Like if you watch the Bucks, they are playing well, and their supporting cast is playing well. But when you have like Thanasis and Grayson Allen as your two best secondary players, there's only so much you can do. I'm rambling. Any topics, anything you want to talk about?
Well, I like your Tatum one, right? There are a lot of young guys who have a lot of hype, right? And there's a lot of hype. Is Tatum a sell? I'm fearful that you can't really make a total sell call on somebody like him yet because, the day he comes out and has a bad game, game 1 of the season, and you're like, all right, Jaylen Brown's the better guy on the team, then you have that overtime game where he scores 41 points. You know what I mean? And he shows you, look, at any given time, he can put up real big numbers. So I don't know if I'm a sell on him. I'd be leaning on the sell side rather than buy just because his cards are a lot. And there are a lot of young players in the league now that seem to be more dynamic and more exciting and that people are starting to invest in ahead of him. He kind of reminds me of, dare I say, Baker Mayfield, who had all that hype coming out and people were investing in him. But then Josh Allen is in that draft class and Lamar Jackson, and you still have Patrick Mahomes. And then the next year, Kyler Murray comes out, and yet now have Justin Herbert, and you have all these other guys that have come out. It's sort of the same thing, right? Like if you were a Tatum guy, well, Luka and Trey have stolen a lot of that thunder, and then Zion and now Ja and Lamelo even, I think Lamelo had 27 points, 5 and 7. Lamelo looks the part of a legit star. And I'm not saying Tatum's bad, right? He's not bad. He puts up crazy numbers, but we've talked about this, right? That momentum thing, right? If he came and won and was scoring, and everybody loved him, it'd be great. But he's kind of lost some of that shine, and it's hard to get that shine back.
Let's talk about someone else. Sure. So this is someone who – I would say if this is a guy that's really he has potential to get a shine back, but he has lost it and hasn't started the season really well. Damian Lillard. So he's struggling big time. His cards.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
Right there. Forget about the cards, the whole deal. How much of that is the new rules? How much of that is Trae
We're
Young,
talking about
James
Harden, not Lillard.
Harden, everybody's talking about Harden, but how much of it is also Lillard? You know, it's not just the whole jump into a defender. How much of it is that, you know, when you drive in the lane, defenders are able to actually take a little bit more of a swipe at the guy. You know,
they can play a little more physical on the perimeter, so you don't get that open
I
shot.
I think Trae made a statement about that. Like, you know, hey, I'm scoring my points. I know I'm not drawing as many fouls, but you know, these rules are ridiculous. When was the last time Dame averaged 17 a game? Maybe his rookie year. You know, I think I saw a statement from Trae about that too. I mean,
so I love what you're doing here. Last season, he averaged 7.2 free throws a game. You want to take a guess how many he's averaging this year?
4.
Yeah, 3.7.
Half. That's a big thing.
Interesting. These guys, especially some of the shooters, they rely getting to the free throw line to kind of get their stroke. And you see, and it's early. I mean, we're talking 6-7 games in. He's shooting 42%, 47% from 2. He shot 52% last year, 52% the year before, 50%, 50%. So he's shooting 47% from 2. And I wonder how much. You know, I think it's a good thing, though. I think some guys are going to adjust. I think it favors guys like Jokic, Giannis, Embiid, Karl Anthony Towns, some of the more physical guys. You know, I think it might actually favor them. I can't believe I just said Karl Anthony Towns is physical. Take that back immediately.
Physical. Take that back immediately. It's all right, man. I know what you mean. And you're right. And I think a lot of it is the rule change. I really do. And I'm not going to complain. But if you really want to go to like take it to the moon scary level here, right? And you really want to, you know, Chicken Little, the sky's falling. I'm not going to complain because that's the style of basketball I like. Watch some Jordan footage. The dude was beaten on his way to the rim and still finished most of the time. These guys now, that they've never had to play through that. But I think that ease in the rules, not the dumb foul calling, but the ease in the rules, the lack of contact, right, is what made the game as popular as it is today. People want to see scoring. They want to see Trae, you know, go for 40 points and just keep chucking the ball up, right?
You know what I've noticed, though? It actually benefits a different type of player. And it benefits this guy, this crafty player, Lonzo and Lamelo.
Yeah.
Right? Because those are guys that they're not big men, they're not physical guys, but they're also not guys who, you know, whether they shy away from contact or not, they're crafty, right? They find spaces on the court. They were never guys that needed to get to the foul line like James Harden by jumping into them. LaMelo is incredibly crafty, and watching this Hornets team play, I really enjoy watching them play. They're this combination of free-flowing, but also kind of well-organized because LaMelo is out there like a player coach. Yep. LaMelo has one of the highest basketball IQs I've seen in a long time from a 22, 23-year-old kid. Is he even that old?
He might be 20.
Wow. So you start to see this new generation of player, and I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited watching this Hornets team develop because LaMelo came in, and you can't credit LaMelo for all of Miles Bridges' growth and performance and all that stuff, but you could see the team plays looser.
Let's talk about Miles Bridges for a second.
Sure.
I'm a sell on Miles Bridges. If you have Miles Bridges, I'm a sell on him. Why? Because, look, we get to 8 games. That's 10% of the season. So it's not that tiny of a sample size, but that's like 1.5 games in the NFL season. You know what I mean? Like, yep. It is early. Bridges had flashes last year where he was doing this, but he did not sustain it. Like there were games where he scored a lot of points, where he was the team point leader. His athleticism is through the roof. You've seen crazy dunks from him before, but he also, what scares me about him, one is I don't see him sustaining this. There's just too many people on the team who could go off at any point in time, from Gordon Hayward to Terry Rozier when he's healthy to LaMelo, Miles Bridges, PJ Washington can even score a bunch of points, if they need to lean on him, depending upon, who's playing defense and whatnot. But
Oubre's been playing really well too.
Oubre, yeah. I mean, the only problem I have with him is he plays with like reckless abandon. You know what I mean? I was watching a game. I think it was the second game. He kind of limped off with a little knee tweak. And I'm like, gosh, this is what you expect. He's high flying, banging knees. He's doing all this stuff. But he came right back. You know, it was one of those like hold your breath type of moments. You know, he kind of like hobbled off to the side. They looked at his knee a little bit and brought him back into the game. But, you know, he's one where I don't ever see him being like the face of the league, you know, alpha of anything, right? I see him more, and there's nothing wrong with this, but I see him more of like a Chris Middleton level, like just a tier below that. A great player, you need him. It'll be team success because of him and the whole deal, but not somebody that anybody ever really wants to invest in. The difference is Miles could be. Miles got the dunking, you know what I mean? He's got those highlights that people seem to like. So that's the difference in their game. I just mean Miles Bridges, Hornets. People want to invest in Lamelo. It's tough to have two high flying, you know, investments.
Well, and his cards have gone up 100%.
Yes,
literally.
that's the other thing.
And I talked about it a little bit before this season. Like if you guys go to the NBA season preview, it's a good episode because it's more of a strategy than what to do. I think this is going to be, I'll reiterate it, a day trading, week to week type of trading season. There's so much young talent. There's so much young talent we didn't get to see develop in the last year and a half because of how weird of a season those was. The bubble year, then a short break, then back into the NBA season, but 72 games. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but it kind of threw stuff off. And this is a season where you get a full off season. You get a full kind of work on your game. And you're going to start to see really interesting guys. I think of the NBA cage in weeks, right? Because in NFL, you really just like it's one game a week, right? So we kind of analyze it that way. In NBA, you have 3-4 games. So a player could have an incredible week, right? An incredible 2 weeks. But then he's going to meet another young guy. So I think this is a good opportunity to kind of day trade. I'm curious. Any teams you want to talk about? Like the Wizards are a really interesting team built up of kind of veterans that nobody else wanted. Aaron Holiday, Kyle Kuzma. Beal is apparently he loves Washington, D.C. He doesn't want to go anywhere. What do you make of this team? Do you have any thoughts on them at all? They're 5-1.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows you that anything can happen in a 6-game kind of, stretch. Beal can score, man. And yeah, I mean, you just listed a bunch of guys, a bunch of names of people who are going to be playing. Really well. They're going to be playing for their dinner. These are probably all guys that have contracts coming up end of the year, and they're all going to make a name for themselves, right? They're all going to, prove to whatever team that they should be traded for at the deadline, or that they should be, a deal should be signed, and the like. That's a motivator, by the way. Sometimes when you got to play for your dinner, you got to go out and kill something instead of trying to eat what somebody else is killing for you. It's. Do
you think the Wizards? So the Wizards play the Hawks today. They just beat the Hawks. Do you think the Wizards finish higher than the Hawks this year?
No, I think the Hawks.
You watch them play though. Do you think the Hawks bounce back? They haven't looked great.
Yeah, I do. I think the Hawks ultimately bounce back. Look, they're still trying to find, where they're going to run their offense through. I mean, Trey's still putting up his numbers. Trey's one of these weird guys, right? Who is there somebody out there who does more for his team? Like, I think if they let him, he could lead the league in scoring and assists. Think about how ridiculous that is. But look at his stats. He's scoring like 24, 25 points, and he got 10 assists. He's second in the league in assists. He wouldn't have to increase his scoring that much. Is it crazy for you to think Trae Young could lead the league in scoring? I mean, the dude he never met a shot he doesn't like. And he's second in assists, I think. Last time I looked, he was. He's
not shooting great. He's averaging 10 assists a game.
Yeah.
Shooting 30% from 3, 29% from 3.
Yeah.
Do you think so that's a good point. Like you look at Lillard's 3-point pursuit is horrific. Do you think that we're going to start to see regression to the mean where like Miles Bridges, he came out hot, he's playing incredibly well, and he regresses back to a 20-point a game?
Yeah, and I think that's what happens. I think it's what happens all the time. It's, you play to the back of your basketball card, right? I think somebody like Trae Young, Damian Lillard, a lot of those shots that were thrown up, they're testing the new rules. And you've seen plays already where it's like they're chucking a shot up that either goes over the backboard or falls 4 feet short because they were expecting a whistle. That counts. That's bringing their 3-point percentage down. That previously was a shot that didn't count against them. And not only was it something that didn't count against them on their shooting percentage, but they scored points at the free throw line for it. So those non-calls are double negatives for them. It makes their 3-point shooting look worse. So, but eventually they're going to stop trying that baloney. They're going to stop throwing themselves into defenders because the refs are not blowing a whistle. So, it'll all work itself out, I think.
So I'm going to
I
get
also am not a believer in the Knicks. I'm getting a lot of like, hey,
wow.
you think the Knicks are terrible. I'm not a Knicks believer. No,
I'm going to tell you, my prediction is the Knicks finish in a 1 or 2 seed.
No way.
Yeah, and I'll explain why. I think pending injury. Injuries are really difficult to predict. And my play is actually Kemba Walker.
Wow.
Well, first off, you have the 2012 Prism thing.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, here's why I think it. First off, I love Tom Thibodeau. I think he's a coach that creates culture. I think that's a big deal. I've talked about culture all the time. Let's do the whole thing where you used to get messages where you don't say love it to Andrew's plays. Push back. Maybe I'm crazy. But Kemba Walker's issue to me has always been intensity, right? Like he was always the guy laughing after.
Yeah, I was just going to say that because I've watched the games with him.
But I think with a team that has so much intensity, you have Tom Thibodeau, Taj Gibson, Julius Randle, all they're just very intense guys. I think a little bit of Kemba Walker is perfect fit on this team. Where on the Celtics, where they had very laid back guys like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, they needed a little bit more toughness. I think this is the perfect fit for him. I really do. And the Knicks need one guy to help finish games off at the end. Incredible free throw shooter. He's going to have the ball in his hand, game-winning shots. The Knicks don't really blow people out. They play tough, gritty defense. So you're going to see a lot of tough, close games. Kemba Walker, to me, coming from a 2012 set, awesome personality, completely forgotten. You could get his 2012 Silver Prism PSA 10. Guess how much it sold for on October 10th?
No clue. How much? Kemba Silver. Shoot.
Kemba Silver from 2012. This is an iconic set.
A PSA 10?
PSA 10.
Tell me.
$400, $430.
Wow. For silver. Can't be too many of those.
There can't be too many of those. I'll tell you the exact number. There's 25. So this could be a fake sale. There was a sale August 13th for $740. There was a sale August 4th for $595. There was a sale July 21st for $449. This is a card. It's going to be all over the place. It just is what it is. You could get his base from 2012, not graded, for $15. You get a PSA 9 for $55. Here's a sale: 31 bids, $430, PSA 10, new slab, everything. I think the Knicks are going to be a number 1 seed. I think this is the perfect guy they needed. I think Evan Fournier is okay, but he's not going to take any of the tension away. I like this play. I think that you're going to have an opportunity to sell this card from $500 to $1,000. I do. And I think the Knicks finish with the number 1 seed. Tell me why you don't think
the Knicks number 1 seed. There's no leader, right? I know there's Cardiac Kemba, who kind of created some of the Cardiac for himself. Yeah,
and people forget, dude.
Yeah, but Tom Thibodeau was not going to inbound the ball and take the last second shot. I don't trust him.
Kemba, Derrick Rose?
Oh, I watched the team and it just looks like a mess. It looks like a bunch of guys who are out there who are playing individually. Julius Randle, a lot of isolation. Athleticism, sure, from somebody like Obi Toppin, right? Emmanuel quickly goes out there and throws up the ugliest shots I've ever seen in my life. It's got such a hitch in it. He makes Lonzo Ball look fluid.
Cage, I would be very careful. I've watched basketball a long time. This is a roster that's built to sustain a full season. Yeah, but they have a mix of veterans, young veterans.
That doesn't matter.
Young talent.
Everybody puts on paper a good team. So I watched the last game I watched with them because I don't like watching the Knicks, because the last game I watched was that overtime game where it should never have gone to overtime, where they blew a lead to a shit team, right? And they had to go to
Celtics.
They had to go to double overtime to pull it out at home, right? And Spike Lee making faces and the whole deal. So I'd like, on the positive side, to say, okay, that's a good thing. They're learning. It's a lesson for them about how to close games out. And they didn't, no harm, no foul. They won the game, right? But in reality, what I thought to myself was, any other team would have just beat them. Any other team would have taken that. They were sloppy with the ball. And Kemba was laughing about it. So you look at it like, hey, he's having fun. He's out there, and that's like a positive thing. I look at it like, when it came time to bear down, he was like yucking it up with the Celtics. I guess it's his former team, and they're like, yeah, okay, that's 3 straight turnovers by me, whatever, and they should have lost the game. And I watched this and I'm like, that's a team lacking an on-court leader. And Kemba, to me, the way he looked right there was not it. I could be wrong. Remember, this was this season.
Kemba's not a leader. I would agree.
So is it Derrick Rose? They've had Derrick Rose. They haven't really done much with Derrick Rose. Ultimately, what it comes down to also is in the East, right? You're talking about a 1 or 2 seed. The Knicks don't have the horses to keep up with a healthy Nets team, and they don't have anyone to stop a healthy Giannis.
They don't have the horses to keep up with the Nets team in a 7-game series.
Yeah.
They have the horses to keep up with a Nets team that's not as motivated as this Knicks team over the course of an 82-game season.
Sure, they'll win some games. I mean, obviously, they've won a lot of games. They started off 5-1, right? I mean,
they also have a really interesting blend of talent, right? Like
Taj Gibson is in your blend of talent.
Well, Taj Gibson, it's not your typical team, right? Like, I'm struggling who to compare this team to. Because like, if you go down, up and down this roster, I mean, dude, they have 10 guys. I'm struggling to compare it. There's no comparison to this team. Fine, here's my comparison. They remind me of the Bulls with Jimmy Butler and Derrick Rose. That's what they remind me of. Now, Derrick Rose during that season was incredible. They don't have a Derrick Rose MVP. But how much of that season Derrick Rose was like Derrick Rose's pure talent, which a lot of it was. But also that team was tough, gritty defensively. They competed every night. They were on the ground chasing balls. A lot of that, Joakim Noah, I mean, that's not a talent, right? Like, they remind me a little bit of that gritty Bulls team. So, and that Bulls team, I think they finished first in the East that year. So, a little different.
I like it. They have an MVP. Here's my problem with it, right? They're only like scorer, like, hey, we need a basket. Is Randall. And I just think Randall could be shut down by the top.
Yeah, but now they have Kemba.
Yeah, but Kemba's. I mean, I've never. What has Kemba done? I mean, he was great in college with a great team, right? But
Kemba's a great scorer, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Kemba's
a scorer.
Right.
Can I give you one more? I think I'm ashamed that I haven't brought him up. He's probably my favorite player. Like Derrick Rose, man. Derrick Rose's improvement is incredible. Do you know what he's shooting from 3-point range? This is Derrick Rose.
43%.
54% from 3. Now, I know it's still early, and maybe that will obviously regress. But, dude, Derrick Rose's improvement and comeback, like, honestly, I kind of want to change my play from Kemba Walker to Derrick Rose. But
see, Rose I would buy just because Rose has already won an MVP, and Rose I actually like Rose's game, and he's a likable guy, and there are people who have been fans of him, and he's one of those guys who fell off a little bit, and and can you could root for him to. Yeah, he was one of those guys who was like the answer to that trivia question: who's the one MVP who didn't make the Hall of Fame in the NBA? Because he doesn't look like a Hall of Famer, although he started off looking like it. To win the MVP in the NBA, you got to be really good. Everyone who's won the MVP has been in the Hall of Fame. Rose was like that trivia question, and he might still make it. Who the hell knows? He's putting up some stats. I don't know. He might have to do some stuff over the last couple of years. And now Joker might be adding his name to that list too. But
I'm sitting here thinking, would I put Derrick Rose as a top 75 player? And they put Damian Lillard on it, right? Dame's never won an MVP.
It's true. It's very true. Very true. Listen, so I may be very wrong about the Knicks. I watched the Knicks last year. I think they overachieved last year. I've watched them. They're my local market team. So when there's no other sports on, I do watch their games. And I am a Knicks fan from back. I'm not a Knicks fan now. I adopted the Hornets a couple of years ago when I started watching basketball again with Ian. And now I watch some Pelicans games. And who knows? I'm a transient fan. I was a Knicks 80s and 90s Knicks fan. This team.
Pack Drip Ewing.
I like that. Pack Drip Ewing. So, I mean, listen, I could be very wrong. There are definitely some loud, some vocal fans of our show who think the Knicks are a lot better than I think they are. And guys, if you know nothing, I'll be honest. Like, if I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong, right? And so far, I've been wrong. They've won.
I think sometimes we overthink value like the big season acquisitions, the big names. And I think we undervalue guys that just are a good fit for what the Knicks needed. And I think the Knicks needed a perimeter scorer, someone that could beat his guy off the dribble one-on-one.
Listen, you were right about this, the team when it was the Heat, right? And you talked about the team chemistry and a team being able to overcome those stars. If that's what you're saying about the Knicks, I'll buy it because you do know your stuff and you did call that correctly. To me, it's a stars league. And the Knicks don't really have stars to match up with a lot of the other stars in the East. Even the Heat, right? I mean, the Heat, the team ball, the Heat are looking good because of exactly the same reason you're talking about, right? Tyler Hero pitching in where he's supposed to pitch in and not being asked to do more than Jimmy Butler having that type of season again. Bam, being more athletic and doing his thing. Like, that's in the East too. So to say the Knicks are going to be a 1 or 2 seed, it means that the Bucks are going to fall off, the Nets are going to fall off, the Heat are going to fall off,
well,
the Celtics
not
are going to fall off.
Those are my top 4. So I think it's Nets, Bucks, Knicks, and
Heat. But you said the Knicks are a 1 or 2 seed. So
well, I would go Knicks 1 or 2, Nets.
It's tough, man, because remember the Knicks were a 4 last year. So it shouldn't be that crazy of a statement. I said the Knicks aren't going to make the playoffs.
So here I'll go 4 Heat, 3 Bucks, 2 Nets, 1 Knicks. Remember, number 1 seed doesn't mean that they're the best team.
I agree with you, but what I'm saying there is you're telling me that the Bucks, the Heat, and the Nets are all going to have less wins this year than the Knicks.
I think what I've seen with the Bucks team is they're going to nurture their talent and make sure that they're healthy because they've been number 1 seeds and they know that number 1 seed is great, but they're going for the championship team. Right now for this season, this is a Knicks team that's just trying to win the regular season and prove that they should be up in the upper echelon. And I think that's the motivation that you need to win a regular season. I think Durant and Harden don't care.
All right, guys. So I'm going to swing this completely in a different direction for you on my play today. And it's one of those plays that I am really a fan of. And I thought to myself, I should just buy a bunch of these myself. Like it fits in my own, buy the goats, don't buy the new stuff, stock up some goats. It fits in my art over cards. I do not own either of these. I decided coming into today, as Andrew and I were talking, that we need to have one of these value episodes. Andrew's giving you the Knicks. Andrew's giving you Kemba Walker. He's probably right. I'm probably wrong. The dude knows his basketball. We've seen that time and time again.
I got NBA League Pass this weekend. I bought NBA League
I've had it for years. It's amazing.
And then the power went out for 2 days.
I got it just to watch Devontae Graham. But so you ready for this one, guys? And Andrew, if you want to pop this up, it is a cool looking card, and you can just put it in like completed eBay. If you just type in Gretzky, GRETZKY, metal 96. So this is going to check a lot of boxes for you guys, right?
By the way, Gretzky just joined Instagram, fellas. So if you guys want to give him a follow, he's terrible at posting.
So, we learn. Old men like me and Wayne will have to learn Instagram. It's not something that we were familiar with. It takes time.
I think you guys do a better job than you give yourselves credit for.
So if you scroll down a little bit to the September 1st one, there are 2 cards that I wanted to. So this is the 96-97 Metal Universe Lethal Weapons number 6. Right there is one of them. I want you to go to completed. That one's $99 or best offer. You can click that one. It's the same card. The last one of these that sold in September sold for $27. That card, that Lethal Weapons, the $99 one, you can click on that if you like. Scroll up.
Where do you see $99?
Scroll down. So now you're in completed. So keep going down. It'll be 20.
In an HGA slab, that's pretty cool. Cage just literally disappeared do you think his phone died? September 1st, Lethal Weapon. So guys, bear with me as I find this. I think I'm doing here it is. Sorry guys. Just doing a terrible job of that. I apologize. But here's the play. And guys, Gretzky is interesting. Gretzky is a guy that I look at his eyes. This is a hilarious picture. He looks scared. It's a beautiful card. Why does he look so scared here? Look at him. Look at his face. He's as fresh as an antelope out there. Look at that smile. You can see he's having fun again after several years of turmoil. Edmonton Oilers general. Dude, these cards, I love this is hilarious. Look at him. Look at his face. He's as fresh as an antelope out there. So, Cage, I'm sure he's coming back on in just a second, but guys, Gretzky is an interesting play. With all of this metal universe, precious metal gems, all that stuff going on, you even see like Marvel cards, hitting record highs for the precious metal gems. We don't talk enough about hockey, but hockey is clearly a sport that demands some sort of respect. It's the third best sport or the third most popular sport in America, fourth, whatever it is. Gretzky's a name that will live in infamy. He's, a goat of goats. He's widely regarded as the greatest hockey player of all time. And this is coming from Andrew, who doesn't really watch hockey, doesn't follow. But, anytime I always like to ask people about things I don't know. And hockey, I asked Connor McDavid, what makes him so special? And a lot of people compare him to Gretzky. And that's such a big comparison. But the point of that is Gretzky is the benchmark for anybody to compare against. And I think that makes it cool. So we got Cage, you're back. This is hard. Can I read you a quote real quick?
That was pretty crazy. But I heard you. I was trying to jump in. I was like on mute the whole deal. And you were reading the back of the card. So that one is awesome. I mean, you can see they're available. Lethal Weapon, Wayne Gretzky. Last one's over $27. I also like the base card number 96. So this is a 96-97 Fleer Metal Universe. We're talking about a low price card here.
So point me in the right direction so I pull the right one up.
Shoot. So it's card number 96. So it's that card right there. The top
one right here.
That's it. Yeah, the base card. So this is one I'd be looking for, trying to find one in decent shape. I would grade this when PSA comes back on. Seriously, this is one I would grade. The Michael Jordan version of these cards is hundreds of dollars, right, in PSA 10. I don't know if this is going to 10. They're etched cards. They're metal cards. But I'd grab a couple of these. Look, they're not even selling for $20. I saw one in this week, $24.99 with no bids, right? I saw them, and $20 is
a clean copy too.
$10. And look, that one was very, very nice, right? I mean, you're talking about like in the teens, $15. I saw last week, October 17th, so 2 weeks ago, an HGA graded 9 sold for $15.50. If you put that one in HGA, there's an HGA 9 with like a matching red, white, and blue, slab, $15.50. Crazy. It's insane, right? This year, so guys, there's fun ones, right? Pick ones that you like. There are people out there who are hockey guys who are listening to this. That Gretzky year, the 96, 97 medal, he's wearing a Ranger jersey. If you remember Gretzky playing for the Rangers and you're a fan of the Ranger Gretzky, go for it. It's also on his Lethal Weapon. The year before this, 95-96 medal, I saw one sell yesterday for $1.61, the base card, and he's in his Kings jersey. So if you're an LA guy, if you're an LA Gretzky and you like that better than his Ranger jersey, same thing, 95-96, there's also an insert. If you don't like the Lethal Weapon, there's also one called Heavy Metal. Really cool looking art type of card. And you're talking about $10 for that card, right? I saw the base card. I saw a lot of 6 of them sell for $9, right? Cool Gretzky art. I would go more with that, the Ranger one, but I'm a New Yorker. I like this metal universe one. I think people are starting to buy metal cards, whether it's baseball, basketball. You see the Jordan stuff go. You see Kobe metal cards. You're seeing the precious metal gems. And when those are out of people's price range, they start looking at the other inserts from those years. They start looking at these like art cards. And now you have, what I consider one of the GOATs in one of the sets that people are going to start to look at. These mid-90s metals sets, they have the ability to become sort of like the Exquisites, the 2012 Prisms, you name it, because they have that iconic anchor, the precious metal gems. And as people start looking at those, talking about those, and those become these, huge cards in the hobby, like, oh, let me go look at the metal set. All right, look at the Wayne Gretzky card. Look at this Lethal Weapon Wayne Gretzky or the base Wayne Gretzky. I'm going to get that in a PSA 10. You can buy it now much cheaper than I think this is ultimately going to end up being. That's my play. It's a fun one. I don't want to give anything too crazy, too expensive. I'm not a hockey expert, but I do know that they call Wayne Gretzky the great one for a reason. And I have started to swing my collection more towards guys who are quote unquote GOATs. And this is a cool way of grabbing a fun art like Gretzky and adding it to your PC. So that was, a little fun play today. What do you think, man? You're a hockey guy.
I gave my thoughts when you were gone, but I said like everyone compares against Gretzky, right? Like McDavid comes in the league, they're like, and when you're the benchmark, that's a really powerful place to be versus the person compared against. But 30 seconds, 60 seconds or less, Von Miller, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. I mean, that's intimidating.
Yeah. I mean the Rams are going for it, right? I mean, they're laying the cards on the table this year and saying that they think they're the NFC's representative in the Super Bowl. And from what you've seen here, any given week, any team's the best. We've talked about the Bucks are the best. We've talked about the Rams are the best. This certainly helps. I think you're going to see a motivated Von Miller, right? There's a shot for a championship here. If
you guys had Rams as play yesterday, my sincerest apologies. I was there with you guys. Up 38-0, Cage, and they gave up 22 points in 8 minutes in the fourth quarter to blow the cover to Houston and Davis Mills.
And somebody said that Houston was going to score points at the end on the whatnot, and that they were going to go over 46.
22 points in 8 minutes?
Somebody said that, Texans, that I would bet the over in the game because at the end, I can see the Texans scoring a touchdown at the end that causes a backdoor cover.
I want to let you go, but I was really disappointed.
You hate me.
No, I mean, when you're right, you're like the chips fall where the chips fall. Like
I was only 500 yet. I whatnot show. We'll see tonight. I'm going to go over 500, but I was only 500 yesterday.
Tonight is Chiefs minus 10 bounce back game, right?
I think the Chiefs are going to destroy the Giants tonight. I've been wrong before.
Danny Dimes is pretty terrible, but Herbert, any concerns, or is this just? Or is Mac Jones pretty good? Or is Belichick a great coach and he could fit?
I was never on Herbert. Remember, in the beginning of the year, I've started to warm to Herbert as a player, but never as cardboard. I don't own I have one Herbert card, but I graded it myself. We pulled it out of a pack, and I will be moving it. I should have moved it before he lost. But it's one loss. People forget it's football. These teams are not going to
bye week, though. In a really good spot.
Listen, I picked the Chargers yesterday, and obviously what they're showing you here is that any given week, anybody can be beat, right? There's a lot of parity in the league. The teams that we think are fantastic are not. The Jets beat a Titans team with Derrick Henry. They beat a Bengals team. What the hell?
I mean, guys, if you do this, so look ahead line, or it's not a look ahead line. Eagles versus the Chargers. Take a guess what the line is. It's in Philly.
Chargers -3.
Yep, that's actually the right line. I would think it would be higher. I would think it'd be Chargers. I mean, it's on the road. It's
the Eagles just destroyed Detroit. But they scored like 44 points. They look like world beaters.
And the only person that didn't score a touchdown was Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Do you see that they're trying to get rid of Hurts for like Gardner Minshew? Do you see that?
I love Gardner Minshew. Minshew mania, Minshew magic. I'm a Minshew guy.
All right, guys. We'll wrap. As always, Monday episodes, we kind of try to go all over the place. There's a lot happens over the weekend. We don't do a Sunday episode like we do fractional. Saturday is a little lighter, so we kind of go all over the place, but we think
it's amazing. We do 2 shows on Sunday, but we don't do an episode.
We don't do one of these like the staples.
Yeah, one of our normal ones. One of our regular shows.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to cover.
So, Luca Nation, we love you. We'll be back. It's a big week. Thank you guys for all the support. Thank you for smashing the subscribe button. We're only 7 people away from 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is kind of crazy given it's been less than 6 months since we fully went all in YouTube. Shout out to Preston who kind of got us going with that, and all the other people who come on the ship and helped us kind of get to where we're going. Really excited for 1,000. So I'm probably going to be even more excited for 10, 20, 100. We got that YouTube plaque as well. So love you guys. Please share if you think any of your friends could find any value from our humor, our banter, or our expertise. Share away.
When we get the plaque, I can't wait for you to share the picture of the plaque in Spanish because they're shipping it to you in Mexico.
How do you say YouTube in Spanish?
YouTubo.
YouTubers. Love you, Luca Nation.